So what was the question again? Oh, why is it called the traffic jam? Well, you know, the reason is, it's because I have two really cool cars. Seriously cool cars. And I love drifting, racing, because I am fast and slick, and plus I like to create a bit of traffic jam myself with a whole lot of great music. Bulumnaka, my name is Real, your host and DJ, right here on the Today FM Traffic Jam, every weekday from 3 p.m. to 7, right here on Today FM, today's hit music.
In this bulletin, procedural matters raised as Public Accounts Committee meeting is deferred. Trade unionist return to office raises legal questions. And Indian Prime Minister to address special sitting of Parliament. Hello and welcome to FBC News. I'm Amrita Priyadarshini. The Parliamentary Public Accounts Committee responsible for scrutinising the Auditor General's reports was unable to sit today. According to the Secretary General to Parliament, Viniana Namosi-Malua, there are procedural issues that can only be decided on by the Speaker of the House, Dr. Chico Luveni. However, as Maggie Boyle reports, there is an obvious divide between the two sides of the House that make up the committee.
It was to be the first sitting of the Public Accounts Committee, but the anticipated wait was in vain as issues between the parties came to the forefront.
The committee has been deferred to a later date because there are certain procedural issues that need to be sorted out between the parties. We will leave that to the Speaker to rule on when she returns in the weekend.
4 hours later, having sought legal advice, the Leader of Opposition, Rotemu Mukepa, held this press conference.
Now, the deferment to that meeting was brought about by the government members who had an issue with the chairman and some of his statements that was covered by yourselves over the past, I think, possibly 2 weeks. Now, from our side of the House, with our two members present, the issues that were brought up by the chairman of the committee was to do with the roles and responsibilities of the Public Accounts Committee. The issue that they have is that he has delved into the specifics of those reports rather than the roles and responsibilities which are covered under standing orders, which he has been speaking on.
Adding that a letter has been sent to the Secretary General to Parliament to convene the committee as soon as possible. Current chairman of the committee, Professor Biman Prasad, also clearing the air.
The concerns, in my view, raised by the government members is frivolous. It makes no sense, and there is no basis of that particular issue. The Auditor General's report is no one's private property. It has been tabled in Parliament. It has been made accessible to all members of Parliament. It has been made accessible to the public.
From the government side, solving the impasse resides with the Speaker of the House and the SG to Parliament.
Our position was very clear. We had discussed and agreed with the opposition that the whole issue of the Public Accounts Committee goes back to the Secretary General, because we believe that there has been a lot of statements that have been made in the previous few days. We would like the Secretary General to convene a meeting later with the arrival of the Speaker.
As to when the Public Accounts Committee will actually meet, that will be decided by the Speaker of the House, who is currently away in Indonesia on official duties. Until then, the Auditor General's reports remain in the public domain, with a formal evaluation for Parliament pending. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
Unionists Daniel Urai and Felix Anthony have been reinstated as executives of the Fiji Trades Union Congress following their resignations to contest the general election. But legal questions have arisen. Urai resumes his role as president and Anthony is the general secretary of the FTUC. Christopher Chand reports.
Just a few months after their resignation, the trade unionists are back in office. Their reappointments were made by the FTUC Executive Council, who have accepted them back.
I was unfortunate. The supervisor of election did not accept my nomination. So the Executive Council of my union then made the decision to say that since you are not eligible for elections, the office is still open for you to continue.
Apart from their reinstatement in the FTUC, they are also back in their respective unions. Urai as General Secretary of the Hotel Union and Anthony as General Secretary of the Sugar Workers Union.
It's all within the laws of the Constitution of the Union that I've returned in this position. And also, when you look at it, this term, this year is my last term. There will be an election this year. Knowing that, the council made its decision. Why call another election when there will be one soon?
Urai says the FTUC has informed the Registrar of Trade Unions of their reappointments. There are, however, questions about their eligibility to return to their positions without an election. Section 154 of the Electoral Decree specifically mentions the responsibility of the Fijian Elections Office to conduct elections of all registered trade unions, municipalities and other elections as determined by the Minister by a notice published in the Gazette. Urai says the Hotel Union is scheduled to hold its annual general meeting on November 28th, when the election of the General Secretary will be conducted.
Well, if the Elections Office make a decision to defer the AGM date for the purpose of supervising the elections, then we'll have to comply with that.
Former People's Democratic Party leader Felix Anthony could not be reached for a comment. FTUC executive Agni Deo Singh referred us to both Urai and Anthony. Another executive, Rajeswar Singh, was busy in a meeting when contacted. Both Anthony and Urai are expected to contest the union elections after their unsuccessful attempt to enter Parliament in the September general election. Christopher Chand, FBC News.
Police are treating the death of an Australian woman in Singatoka as murder. The victim has been identified as Tracy Ann O'Brien Moore of Victoria, Australia. Moore's partly decomposed body found near Vunavutu village on Monday night was identified by her brother. She was apparently visiting Vunavutu village with a friend. A post-mortem has been conducted and due to the extreme decomposition of the victim's body, she was cremated yesterday. Police Commissioner Ben Hunewald has extended his condolences to the victim's family and given his assurance that a thorough investigation will be conducted. An extraordinary session of Parliament will be convened next week for an address by the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He is scheduled to be in Suva for a one-day state visit next Wednesday.
We'll have to take that through the business committee so that they decide that it's a sitting to allow him to address members in the House.
And that will be the only order of the day. There will be no other business. It'll just be an extraordinary.
I believe so. I believe so, that it'll be an address by a head of state to members of Parliament.
Modi is scheduled to meet Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama and other Pacific leaders. He is the second Indian Prime Minister to visit Fiji since Indira Gandhi was here in 1981. All teachers will be trained in basic counselling skills from next year. The Ministry of Education believes this is one way teachers can address hidden problems faced by students who misbehave in class. Savara Tambua has more.
Teachers will soon not only be involved in teaching the curriculum, they will have an additional role to play.
But we have plans to ensure the students
behave in the way that will not disturb the class and will not antagonize teachers. And that is that we want to set up committees in different districts, including people from social welfare, police, our substance abuse department, and community leaders whom we will give opportunity to address students on a monthly basis.
Dr. Reddy also says action taken by the ministry involving teachers and corporal punishment of students has prompted parents to report such cases.
Now parents are able to come forward and report these cases because they can see that ministry is now serious about taking action against those teachers who are not adhering to the policies of Ministry of Education.
The ministry is currently investigating 3 cases of teachers who allegedly physically abused students. The cases were reported in schools in the Western Division. Saber Tambua, FBC News.
Coming up after the break, new Consulate General Office in Shanghai is ensuring Fiji is well recognized in China.
Great words there from Lucky Dube and Baban. I hope you enjoyed that number. Different colors just for you. On Gold FM, only the classic hits. Louise with you on the Center Show. Well, thank you so much for the sweet company. This is Alana Miles, one of my favorites, and Black Velvet for you. Hi there. Join me on the Center Show every weekday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. for the best sounds on Gold FM. Only the classic hits.
Welcome back to FBC News. The Fiji Police Force is working closely with the UN Peacekeeping Committee in New York to ensure police officers returning from Liberia are properly observed for the symptoms of Ebola. Police Commissioner Ben Huneval says preparations to monitor the officers have been underway since the end of last month.
In terms of evaluating these people, getting them through the incubation period, and we are also geared at the airport of Nandi to deal with these people if they are not going through this quarantine period before they enter into Fiji.
Huneval says all the police officers in Liberia are well and morale is high. The force is looking forward to welcoming them back in good health at the end of the month. Fijians can expect closer relations with the People's Republic of China in trade agreements, tourism, education and other areas. Akasita Tale reports the newly opened Consulate General Office in Shanghai is ensuring Fiji is well recognized.
Tall skyscrapers, 4-lane highways, high-rise apartments and shopping complexes make up China's vast development. Fiji's Consular General to Shanghai, Naomi Leweni, says although Fiji is still developing, there are some things that we can learn from China.
I know we have had our engineers come over to China to learn from them, and that's how we can learn and try and upgrade our systems to try and help the people.
One of China's contribution is education, and with more than 30 Fijians enrolled in universities around China, they hope to return home with new ideas.
I'm part of the Republic of Fiji Military Forces, and I'm here attending staff course at the Nanjing Army Command and Staff College. Basically to not let my leaders down by sending me to this course and to go home achieving the aim that I set out, which the Army expects me to achieve.
I came in from the background of logistics and training, and I'm here to pick things that would relate to training back home and how they run things here.
I'm attending the National Defense University in Beijing. I'll be here for 1 week and 1 year, and I'll be returning in July next year. But the sole purpose is to upskill me on my management skill, leadership skill. At a certain stage, it might be useful to in government.
Leweni says he will also ensure that marketing Fiji in Shanghai, the business capital of China, will be a priority. However, language may be a barrier.
We have been in contact with someone who had experience here in Shanghai, who worked in the tourism industry, who speaks fluent Mandarin, and that's an area that will help a lot.
Leweni adds they look forward to President Xi Jinping's visit to Fiji next week, as more bilateral agreements are expected to be signed. Aku Sita Talei, FBC News.
Another Sri Lankan judge has joined Fiji's Court of Appeal. Justice Kapila Waidiyaratne was sworn in by the President Ratu Epeli Nailatikau at Government House yesterday. Justice Waidiyaratne comes with vast experience in the legal field. He has worked with multilateral legal bodies in various capacities. And Justice Waidiyaratne's professional qualification includes work as Attorney at Law of the Supreme Court of Sri Lanka, as a solicitor in England and Wales. The costume for Miss World Fiji has been revealed. The inspiration for the costume is the kula bird or collared lorry that can only be found on Kandavu. Rashika Kumar spoke to Miss World Fiji and has the details.
Miss Fiji Charlene Tafunai's costume has been designed by Andrew Powell, while the headpiece is designed by Isaiah Konrote. It took a week for Konrote to design and make the headpiece, and has been inspired by traditional Lao dance Laka Laka.
As you see, working with feathers is no easy task. It's quite a challenge, but the outcome is very, very unique. And that is what we want to show, Fiji's beauty in a very unique way on a Miss World pageant level.
Konrote is hopeful Miss World Fiji will this year again win Miss World National Costume, as according to the organizers, it captures the essence of the exotic Fijian heritage and tradition. The prints on the costume, although itauke in nature, is not specific to a particular district but is a culmination of all the designs of Fijian Masi designs.
The costume also holds a personal link to my maternal great-grandmother's village in the Kondrave, because it's also known as the Manu Manu for the Isokula clan in the Kondrave. So I feel that this is very fitting for me to wear at the global audience.
Tafunai's dance has been choreographed by Robert Yale, who has been part of famous skits in Beauty and the Beast production.
And our dance movements also incorporate the Lawan dance, but we've actually made the movements a bit bigger because of the global audience that we'll be dancing and showcasing to.
Tafunai will be leaving Fiji for London next week Wednesday, where she will take part in Miss World Tour and other preliminary competitions. Her team will join her on the 7th of December. Rashika Kumar, FBC News.
We turn to sports now. Here's Jamie with the latest.
Good evening. Coming up, Silver Ferns to play its first test in Fiji early next year. And Wales make 8 changes ahead of test match against Flying Fijians. We'll have these stories and more after the break.
गुलाब तो कांटों में ही खिला करते हैं, दिए तो आंधी में भी जला करते हैं। खुशनसीब बहुत होती है वो शाम, दोस्त आप जैसे जिंदगी में जन्मिला करते हैं। हेलो हाय नमस्ते बुला पीजी, मैं हूँ आपकी मस्तानी शाम होस्ट जोसलिन नारायण। मस्त मगन गाने, ताज़ा खबरें और बहुत कुछ हर शाम 4 से रात 7 बजे तक राइट किया ऑन रेडियो PG2।
Welcome back to FBC Sports. First up tonight, former world netball champions, the Silver Ferns, are coming to play in Fiji for the first time. This as New Zealand participates in the inaugural Oceania Tri-Series in January, along with Fiji and Samoa. Josephine Navula has the details.
It's a dream come true for Netball Fiji as they get...
We are quite excited. It's been a long time we've been planning this. It's come about in Netball New Zealand has also released the same information in Auckland this morning.
Bongindrao adds the Netball New Zealand has been impressed with the consistency shown by Fiji and is one of the reasons they have decided to undertake the tour.
Netball New Zealand has realized that we are serious about what we're doing in here, and they've provided us this opportunity. They were here in September for preliminary discussion where we've gone to inspect the venues, inspect where they will be staying, and all other logistics in relation to the test matches.
It will be the first match of our preparations for the World Champs, and so obviously to play the Ferns, number 2 in the world, first off is huge.
Wales rugby coach Warren Gatland has made 8 changes ahead of the one-off test against the Vodafone Flying Fijians on Sunday. Gatland. Still with rugby, the Serevi Select USA Women's 7th side is in Fiji on a mission to finish nothing less than champions at the Bailey's Coral Coast Sevens. 5 members of the team who took part at last year's tournament have returned, and the side believes it has a good chance of winning the title. Rohit Deo has more.
The USA Women's Sevens team has come to Fiji on a mission. The side is here with a pretty experienced side and is willing to take on the best in Sevens rugby.
Well, we want to really attack it, be really aggressive, and come in with a lot of aggression. We've been without games for a while now, so it'll be a lot of fun to have some tackles.
Also in the team is a player who took up rugby as a sport just 8 months ago. She says rugby is the best sport she has ever played and is looking forward to playing in Singatoka from tomorrow.
It's been an amazing journey. One, I want to thank my teammates for showing me everything that I've learned about rugby, and my coaches for willing to take this risk and invite players that are crossover athletes. It's been an awesome journey, and rugby is by far my favorite sport, and I'm excited to continue this.
The team visited St. Joseph Secondary School in Suva today and held some skills sessions with the students. It is expected to be very tough competition when the tournament starts tomorrow, and for sure a lot of nail-biting action will be seen. Rohit Deo, FBC Sports.
Athletics Fiji today launched a 1-week course for Paralympic coaches to upgrade their credentials and knowledge of the sport. Launched by Minister for Youth and Sports Laisenia Tuitumbo, the program is aimed at enhancing the qualification of teachers, coaches and former athletes to create greater awareness for Paralympic athletes. Tsalen Daudakadaka has more.
Athletics Fiji, together with Fiji Disabled People's Association, is embarking on a new path to develop Paralympic coaches in the country. It's a Train the Trainers program to improve their knowledge, something which they can impart to disabled athletes around the country.
Events such as this
The Vodafone Fiji Under-20 football side has ended its Australian tour unbeaten after downing the Newcastle Jets 4-3 last night. The Jets led 3-1 at halftime, but the Fijians bounced back after the break to secure the win. Striker Saula Wanga got a brace of goals, while Garish Prasad and Kolinio Sivoki also scored. Meanwhile, the team is now in New Zealand for the OFC President's Cup. That was your sports for tonight. It's back to Amrita with business.
The Consumer Council of Fiji has established that there is a mixing of numbers between Mobile Companies Inc. and Vodafone. Chief Executive Officer Pramila Kumar says there is no pattern or sequence in the allocation of the numbers which people can easily remember. Shireen Lata reports.
According to the Consumer Council of Fiji, both the Vodafone and Inc. numbers begin from 8 and 9, causing confusion among the mobile users during promotions.
Most promotions are saying Inc. to Inc. only, Vodafone to Vodafone only. And if you don't know the numbers, you'll be, unknowingly dialing a Vodafone number and your purchase credit is lost.
Kumar says customers are unable to differentiate between a Vodafone and Inc. number, unlike digital numbers which starts from 7. Vodafone Fiji Corporate Affairs Manager Shalendra Prasad says the mixing of the number range has got nothing to do with Vodafone. Prasad says as an operator, Vodafone allocates numbers to customers based on the number series allocated by Telecommunications Authority of Fiji. According to the Consumer Council, they are in discussion with the authority and looking for options which advises customers which numbers they are dialing.
Now, public will not know the significance of this number range unless they are told. And the significance of this number range is simply this, that they got to know these numbers.
Comments have also been sought from Inc. Mobile Fiji Limited. Shireen Lata, FBC News.
Let's take a look at today's weather. Fine weather prevailed over most places with occasional showers in the afternoon in Savu and Suva. Now the temperatures, Savu and Suva had maximum temperatures in the late 20s, while the other centres reportedly slightly higher temperatures. Tomorrow you can expect fine weather apart from brief showers over the interior and eastern parts of the larger islands. Now for Friday, pretty much the same, fine apart from brief showers over the interior and the eastern parts of the larger islands. Recapping our main stories. The Parliamentary Public Accounts Committee responsible for scrutinising the Auditor General's reports was unable to sit today. An extraordinary session of Parliament will be convened next week for an address by the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And police are now investigating the death of an Australian woman in Singatoka as alleged murder. On to the poll question, are you satisfied with the education reforms announced recently? You can visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via our Facebook page FBC News. If you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply hashtag FBC News. That's our bulletin for today. Join us again tomorrow night. Modemada.
मेरा चांद मुझे आया है नजर, ऐ रात जरा थम थम के गुजर। छाया है नशा मेरे आंखों पर, ऐ रात जरा थम थम के गुजर। रह जाए ना प्यासा मेरा प्यार, मेरे बाहों में भर दे मेरा यार, ऐ रात जरा थम थम के गुजर, ऐ रात जरा थम थम के गुजर। हाय मिर्ची एफएम पर मैं हूं जितेन शांडिल। शामिल हो जाएगा हमारे साथ टुनाइट शो में Monday to Friday from 7 PM to 12 AM. मिर्ची एफएम, it's all.